Right now, somewhere in your chest, there is a feeling you cannot fully explain. It is not pain exactly. It is not sadness exactly. It sits somewhere between the two, like a pressure behind the ribs that no amount of deep breathing seems to fix. You have probably felt it before. You might be feeling it right now. And here is the strange part. What you are feeling is not emotional. It is biological. Your body is sending you a threat signal, the same kind of signal it sends when you are being hunted. That feeling has a name. Researchers call it loneliness. But what science has discovered about it in the last 2 decades will completely reframe everything you think that word means. Because loneliness is not about being alone. It never was. It is an ancient survival alarm, and it is going off constantly in the modern world, in crowded apartments, in open-plan offices, in the middle of parties, where you are surrounded by people who know your name. The question is why? Why would your body treat the absence of connection like a physical danger? To understand that, you have to go back. Not a few decades, not a few centuries. You have to go back about 2 million years. Your ancestors did not survive alone. That is not a metaphor. That is a biological fact. A human being separated from the group in the ancestral environment was a human being who was going to die. Not eventually. Soon. Within hours or days. Because there were predators. And there was weather. And there was the constant problem of finding food without tools sophisticated enough to do it solo. The group was not a comfort. The group was the survival mechanism. Cacioppo and Hockley, 2 of the most cited researchers in loneliness science, spent decades documenting what they called the social baseline theory. The idea is deceptively simple. Your brain evolved with other people built into its operating assumptions. Your nervous system does not treat other humans as a bonus feature of life. It treats them as a baseline requirement, the same way it treats oxygen and water. When that requirement goes unmet, your brain does not just feel sad, it shifts into a completely different physiological state. John Cacioppo described it this way. Loneliness triggers what he called hypervigilance. Your threat detection system activates. Your amygdala, the part of your brain that monitors danger, starts scanning harder and faster. Your cortisol levels rise. Your sleep architecture changes. You start waking up more during the night. Your immune system begins to shift its resources away from long-term maintenance and toward short-term defense. Because in the ancestral environment, if you were isolated, something had gone badly wrong. Either you had been cast out or a predator had separated you from the group. Either way, you were probably about to fight for your life. That is the biology underneath the feeling in your chest. And here is where it gets stranger. Cacioppo's team ran a study where they tracked lonely and non-lonely people over 5 years, measuring their health outcomes, their cognitive function, their mortality risk. What they found stunned the medical community. Chronic loneliness was associated with a 26% increase in the risk of early death. That number has since been replicated across dozens of studies. Julianne Holt-Lundstad at Brigham Young University reviewed over 70 studies involving more than 3 million participants and found that social isolation was as damaging to long-term health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, not metaphorically. Statistically, your body does not know you are safe. That is the key insight. Your body does not know you are lying in a warm apartment with food in the refrigerator and a phone full of people you could call. It only knows whether the threat signal is on or off. And for millions of people, that signal is on all the time. Now here is the part that almost no one talks about. Loneliness is not the same thing as being alone. This distinction is critical, and the research makes it unmistakably clear. You can be surrounded by hundreds of people and still trigger every single one of those biological alarm systems. Because the signal your brain is monitoring is not the number of bodies in the room, it is the quality of felt connection. It is whether the people around you actually know you, whether they see you, whether if you disappeared tomorrow, someone would notice within 24 hours. Think about that for a second, because that is the metric your nervous system is actually running. Stuart Brown, the researcher who spent decades studying play and social bonding in mammals, found that social connection in primates is almost always mediated through shared vulnerability. 2 chimpanzees do not bond by sitting next to each other. They bond through grooming, which is an act of mutual exposure. You allow someone close enough to touch the most vulnerable parts of you. You extend trust in a form that could be exploited.